What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another horror movie franchise ranking, and today we are going with a franchise that isn't super well known for being a franchise because, well, half of them are remakes, but that is the Carrie series. Now, in my horror movie franchise tier list ranking, I put Carrie in the top tier because I like all of these movies. I think all four of these Carrie films are good. It's not like I just enjoy all four of them. I think all four of them are good movies, okay? So I think the lowest I gave a movie was like 3.5 stars. So just know, even the last place one, it's still a movie I enjoy. So all four of these films I would recommend. I know they're not for everybody, but this is one of my favorite Stephen King stories, one of my favorite horror stories, period. And it's a franchise I've wanted to go through for a long time, so I'm doing the ranking now. Just because there isn't a lot of new horror movies coming out right now, so I figured it would be a good time to cover this series. So until we get to the new scary movie, let's get into the Carrie movies. Starting off with number 4, like I said, still a good movie, still one that I would happily rewatch. But I am going to go with Carrie 2002 here, the TV movie. Now, obviously, you got Catherine Isabel. She's going to make any movie better. I love her so much. But this movie isn't the best, okay? It looks very cheap, and you're going to get that with a TV movie. So I'm not really faulting it that much, but it is a little bit distracting sometimes. They also take some major swings with this one, like they keep Carrie alive in the end. There's a lot of stuff that they do in this one, because I think they were planning to set up a Carrie TV series, which I'm glad they didn't do, because I think it might have not been very good. But either way, that does lead to some very different takes on the way the story ends here, and I don't really like that. I think the way it ends in the original movie and in the book is perfect, so I just don't, yeah, all the changes that they make don't really make the movie better for me. I think Angela Bettis does great as Carrie, though. She's very unnerving. She's very awkward. Like, it's a great performance for Carrie, so I'm not knocking that. Like I said, Catherine Isabel is one of the side characters. I think the performances in this are all pretty good. It just, yeah, like I said, it looks cheap. Doesn't do a whole lot new with the Carrie concept. Just kind of goes for a more book-accurate version. And then, like I said, they changed the ending. So, like I said at the beginning, not a bad movie. One I would happily rewatch, but it's got some problems. Coming in at number 3, I'm going with a film you guys probably didn't even know existed, The Rage Carrie 2. Now, if you have not seen The Rage Carrie 2, give it a shot. Give it a chance, please, okay? If you don't like it, that's fine. But I have a whole lot of fun with this movie. Now, I think the story in this one is actually pretty good. The performances are iffy, the effects are questionable, but there's some good stuff here. So you get a completely new character. I don't know why they called it Carrie, because Carrie's not in it. But they bring back Sue from the original, and she's kind of like just kind of a legacy character. I think she ends up getting killed anyway, so I don't know why she's in here, honestly, but she's here. But you get this completely new character who I believe her name is Rachel, and she is basically our new Carrie. She's bullied the whole time, and you have this like subset of like jock guys who have this game where they award points to each other for who they can sleep with, and it's like the more weird the girl, the more points. It's very terrible, awful behavior, but that's what they do in this movie. And so Rachel falls in love with one of these guys, and the whole thing is that she thinks that he was just using her to get points in their game. But I like the way that it reveals that he wasn't, and like he actually does genuinely care for her, is because she sees a recording and he whispers "I love you" while she is asleep. So I actually really thought that that was a sweet reveal. There's also some pretty good kills once Rachel eventually snaps and reveals she has telekinetic powers. I think someone gets like a spear gun in the dick, so that's a good one. But yeah, like I said, it's a fun movie. I can completely understand if you don't like it. If it's too out there for you, that's fine. But I personally, I loved the characters, and I thought the story was unique enough for it to be a very enjoyable film for me. And yeah, I put it slightly above Carrie 2002, but like I said, they're all good. Coming in at number 2, now I know this is going to be my most controversial take on this list, but hear me out. Number 2, I have Carrie 2013. Now, I know this is not a well-liked film. I think most people consider it the worst Carrie movie, or at least the worst Carrie remake. I don't get it. Okay, I get some of the criticisms. Chloe Grace Moretz, she's too beautiful, too not weird to play Carrie. She just doesn't give off that vibe, but she still plays the role well enough. For her to be the biggest knock against this movie, like, that means the movie's pretty good. Like, that's my biggest complaint. The rest of the movie I really like, okay? It is a modern version of the Carrie story, which is really good because we live in the modern times. So it just shows you what would happen if Carrie had cell phones. Like, it's way more humiliating when you get that shower scene because she's being recorded. And I think they posted on YouTube too. So it is just like way more precedent, like, because stuff like that happens now. So I just remember being like, oh, damn. Yeah, I think this is one of the stories that we needed adapted for the modern times. Like, we have the original, we have the classic, obviously. That one's fantastic. We got that whenever we want it. But we have this version for the more modern people, for the, younger folk. Because, that would obviously be more what they grew up with. So you have, obviously older people who grew up more like the 70s version, and then you got people who grew up with cell phones. So I like the change. Like, it's the same story, almost exactly as the 70s version, but it's modernized, and I think it provides a really new take to the Carrie story. And like I said, it literally just modernizes it. But for me, that's a fantastic way to make this movie better, to make it just a little bit different enough that I can really enjoy it on its own, versus it just being a knockoff of the original. But coming in at number 1, you knew it, I knew it, everybody knows it. The original Carrie is the best of the 4. Now, like I said at the beginning, and I'm going to keep saying it, they're all good. I like them all. But this is far and away the best one. Okay, this is a top 10 horror movie for me. It is probably my second favorite Stephen King movie. Obviously, you guys know it. 2017 is competing for my favorite film of all time, so that one's kind of out of reach. But it's a safe second place. And Carrie, one of my favorite horror icons. And I don't know. I feel weird when people call her like a famous horror villain. Like, I put her on all the horror villain tier lists because everybody considers her a villain, but, like, she's kind of the main character who is an anti-hero. She's an anti-hero, or I guess an anti-villain? I don't know. But she's great. I love her. She's one of my favorite villains-ish in horror history, because by the end, you know how, like, in slasher movies, you kind of root for the killers. Like, oh, yeah, just kill these characters because we don't really care about them. We're here to see them die in creative ways. This movie sets it up so you want to see them die. Not that, like, you just don't care. You actively want Carrie to kill them. And that's why it's so great when she does in the end. Obviously, the effects haven't aged fantastic. It is still, the 70s, but there are some amazing performances in this movie that I am honestly shocked they gave Oscar nominations to, because I would not have predicted that they would give Oscar nominations to Carrie, but I guess it being one of the first Stephen King adaptations and the performances are genuinely amazing, I'm glad that they got the nominations they deserved. But yeah, I mean, what hasn't been said about Carrie? It's iconic. The prom scene is one of the greatest scenes in all of horror. Like, when I think of iconic horror sequences and moments, I think of, they're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you! When her just absolutely laying waste to this prom. You obviously get these not super, like, you know, you get horror villains like Freddy and Jason and Michael, but there's a different side to that, like with Chris in this movie, who is a fantastic villain because she's so hateable. You just hate her guts. And by the end of it, when she dumps the pig blood on Carrie, it's heartbreaking, and then she gets killed. So it's one of those stories where everybody gets what's coming to them. It sucks that Carrie dies in the end, but, you know, she did murder a lot of people. And I think the only big complaint I've ever had with this movie is that the gym teacher dies. But I get it. That happened in the book. It's accurate. And it's just like she was one of the only people that was nice to Carrie, and Sue survived, so I felt like she should have survived as well. But like I said, it's accurate to the book, so I'm not going to fault the movie for it that much. But if I had a complaint, that would be it. And that is going to be it for today's video. Remember, if you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. So anyone see more videos like it in the future, make sure to hit the bell notification to be notified when I post any brand new videos. Comment down below some more video ideas for me, or your own ranking of these 4 Carrie movies, or just your favorite one. And until next time, I'm Ethan Horror. This has been Ethan Horror. See ya.